Hey there, welcome to RTD News, and today, as you can see, I'm delivering the news in a different way. Goal is to basically reach more people and to help others become more monetarily aware. So what better way to do it than to put a face to a camera and to deliver the news via what's happening around the web. So today, as always, I got a couple of great articles here I want to share with you. I want to be short and concise with this message today. Basically, just put the news out there and let you decide for yourself what's best and what's real and what's not, and deliver what is considered real news and nothing fake here. So this is what's mainstream right now, delivered to you. And as always, if you're new to RTD, click the subscribe button below for more RTD news updates, as well as interviews coming, as well as the mini docs that I happen to do based upon other blogs and articles around the web. So let's dive into today's articles right now. So today I have 5 articles, and the first one, as you can see above my shoulder here, is time to sell the dollar on erratic Trump policy, says JP Morgan. The next article here is from CNBC. It says Bill Gross central bank financial methadone isn't going to end well. The next one from CNBC. We're going to have a dollar collapse like the 1980s, strategist says. The fourth one from Bloomberg. Draghi rebukes Trump's lines on currency wars, bank rules. And our last article here is from CoinDesk, and it's why cities will soon choose digital currency over fiat money. So let's kind of dive into the first one. As always, what I'll do is summarize a little bit, skim through it, give you some of the meat, some nuggets on the surface. Other than that, all the links will be found down below if you want to dive in further for yourself and become more informed. The goal here to try to keep this nice and short and just inform you what's going on in the news. And so let's start. So basically, you have a picture here of Mr. Benjamin Franklin all beat up. In reference to the dollar. I'll go through it briefly. It says the dollar enjoyed a strong run after Election Day, but the Trump administration has turned into a headwind for a buck and more troubles are ahead, strategist JP Morgan warns. In a note on late Friday, the bank's foreign exchange strategy team led by Paul Megasy said it has started to sell the dollar against the yen following comments from Trump and his trade advisor that the U.S. currency has gotten too strong. Then in quotes here, a JP Morgan team member saying, dollar confidence and position is being eroded by erratic policy emissions from the White House. U.S. dollar has retraced 45% of the Trump rally, but we believe the risk-reward favors a deeper setback as U.S. dollar versus those that paired lagged most notably, says the JP Morgan gentleman. So basically, basically hinting at the fact that Trump tends to speak off the cuff and say whatever comes to the first thing to his mind is going to be a problem for the dollar. And so as this channel is called Rethinking a Dollar, this is what this is all about. So keeping our eye on the dollar. So it goes on to say a couple more things in regards to the dollar. It says dollar suffered its worst January in 30 years. That came after Trump on January 17th described the dollar as too strong. And so as I mentioned from prior news articles, apparently there hasn't been many presidents since who knows when that has actually, referenced or hinted at anything to do with the dollar. So Trump being the first in a while just shows how, different things are right now. So I'll let you read the rest if you're interested. Just scroll down below and click the link for yourself. So the next one, Bill Gross, central bank financial methadone isn't going to end well. So for Mr. Bill Gross here, he's the a hedge fund billionaire type of guy from Janus Capital Portfolio. I'll read briefly what it says here. It says, central banks are stuck in a permanent cycle of low interest rates and money printing that bond guru Bill Gross said eventually will blow up. In this monthly newsletter for clients, the Janus Capital Portfolio Manager again rallied against policies from the Federal Reserve and its counterparts around the world that he has inflated asset prices but have done little to boost economic growth. He likened the easy money efforts to financial methadone, in which the Fed's withdrawal of stimulus has been met with increased efforts from the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and elsewhere, being that, all those other central banks are, buying all types of quote-unquote assets or bonds or debts or whatever you want to call it. It says the global central balance sheet has surpassed $12 trillion since our last financial hiccup, Gross said. At the same time, Fitch Ratings recently reported that global sovereign debt with negative yield still surpasses $9 trillion. So once again, just more signs of being in an upside down monetary world. So some more stuff down here. It says all of it has created a perilous situation, said Gross. Quantitative easing will continue even though the dose may be reduced in future years, he wrote. But with the methadone habit is far better than a heroin fix. It has created and will continue to create an unhealthy capitalistic equilibrium that will one day be reckoned with. So once again, it's kind of painting an unpleasant picture for the world, for the globe, due to 12 trillion balance sheet and 9 trillion of it is negative yields. So that's not pretty. Anyway, more article below if you're interested in reading it. Let's get on to the next one. Also from CNBC, it says we're going to have a dollar collapse like the 1980s, strategist says. So here we have a gentleman here. Haven't had a chance to check the video out, but yet you feel free to do so. Want to just skim through this briefly. It says history could be said to repeat itself as excessive growth has left the U.S. dollar poised for a collapse in as little as a year. The co-founder of London-based advisory group Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, or OMFIF, told CNBC. David Marsh, a financial specialist that advises asset management firms, is predicting a dollar crash akin to the seen in 1980s as the world's reserve currency continues to rally off the back of the new U.S. administration following continued gains seen over recent years. And so it shows a picture here of Mr. Ronald Reagan pointing at their bill, and our bill, not sure what I was referring to, but the dollar has been going up by approximately 10% per year in real terms over the last 3 to 4 years, Marsh explained, adding that it was doing exactly the opposite of what President Donald Trump says he wants. I foresee, he's quoted as saying, I foresee it will carry on getting stronger for a year or so, and then we will have a dollar collapse, just like we did in the 1980s. So once again, you have a guy, David Marsh, obviously he's well respected. He's on CNBC, and he's basically saying that, it's going to continue to rally for a while, but eventually there's going to be a crash. And so that's just plays more into the idea of rethinking a dollar. I mean, we have, top minds here, guys that, aren't going along with the typical mainstream media spiel saying that a dollar collapse is coming. So definitely something worth, paying attention to, rather. Sorry. Anyway, articles here. If you're interested, scroll below and check it out. Next article from Bloomberg. Draghi rebukes Trump lines on currency wars. And then it starts off, Germany isn't currency manipulator, Draghi tells EU Parliament. ECB's Draghi says rollback of financial regulation is worrisome. And then just to give you an idea of what's going on here, it says Mario Draghi took to Trump administration to task, addressing recent assertions that Germany is a currency manipulator and warning against the rollback of post-crisis financial regulations. Speaking at a hearing in Brussels on Monday, the European Central Bank president responded to the charge by U.S. National Trade Council Director Peter Navarro and others that Germany is using a grossly undervalued euro to gain an unfair trade advantage. The ECB has not intervened in the foreign exchange market since 2011, Draghi told European Union lawmakers, adding that Germany's trade surplus was a result of productivity gains. Germany has a significant bilateral trade surplus with the U.S., a material current account surplus, but is not engaged in persistent one-sided intervention in the foreign exchange market. So, a little bit of finger pointing out there saying that, that ECB, Germany, all those European nations are, kind of, not playing fair out here. So interesting to see how, as the American economy crumbles eventually, how we begin to point the blame elsewhere, such as Germany, who's, a producing nation, and obviously having a surplus with us. They are, giving us goods and we're giving them debt. So who's to blame there? So we'll see. But if you want to read more about this currency wars, scroll below for the article. Here we have the last article. It is from CoinDesk. It says why cities will soon choose digital currency over fiat money. And so part of the rethinking the dollar concept is really beginning to understand the difference between sound money and fiat currency from a historical standpoint, which means rethinking things that we probably were never taught in school. And so rethinking the dollar here with the interviews and the news and things like that and more stuff to come is meant to help those that are uninformed and those that are monetarily unaware to become more aware on things that do matter, and it's pretty much based upon our monetary system. And as my last guest, Mr. Bo Polney, said that a new system is about to be rolled out pretty soon. So definitely things that people should begin, caring about. So I'll scroll through it briefly. It says Pavel Baines is the CEO and co-founder of Bluzzle, a company providing a suite of blockchain-powered applications aimed to accelerate financial inclusion. In his opinion piece, Baines argues that national currencies do not work in interest of all countries' urban areas, predicting that soon a city will make this leap of its own to digital currency. There's a picture here of a, some fictitious city floating out in the water somewhere. And I'll read it briefly and then let you check it out for yourself. It says, over the last 100 years, we have seen all innovation happen in cities. Cities are where people meet and exchange ideas, and opportunities in business emerge. By 2050, it's almost estimated almost 70% of the world's population will be living in cities, more than double in 100 years. In absolute numbers, that is growth of 850 million to 6.3 billion urbanites. In 15 years, we will have 41 megacities. With all the power of growth and influence emanating from cities and not from farming villages, our model of one country, one currency is outdated. I predicted that 10 years ago we will see the first city separate from the national currency and have its own digital money. Old terms no longer apply. We refer to countries as developed, emerging, developing, and poor nations. This is wrong. We would do better to refer to places as dynamic or passive regions. There are plenty of regions in the developed world that now looks like they are poor nations. An example would be Detroit throughout the 2000s. Elsewhere, London is thriving and growing, while all cities in the rest of the UK are falling behind. And then it goes on to talk about benefits of a local currency. So it's a one country, one currency system is a relatively new concept formed over 300 years ago by French and English banks capitalization. Till the 20th century, the U.S. itself had the different banknotes that were sold at premium or discount depending on the reputation of the bank within a region. Today's split over the benefit of a euro as a single currency is the same conflict the U.S. had over the 100 years ago when it took a central route. It makes no sense, though. Each city should follow its own business needs. Forcing two or more cities to share a currency sends false signals that it strengthens one but weakens others. So basically, it seems like he's going to promote, the idea of a single currency, predominantly through a digital blockchain type of situation. Then it goes on here to say the role technology will play. Blockchain digital currencies may now the right time for a city to adopt its own currency. And some of the benefits he's mentioned is they're cheap, they're secure, they're safe, they're usable. And so, yeah. So basically, a technology guy that wants to really promote his product as far as the bit chain and things like that, which are all viable alternative means to Federal Reserve notes. But once again, it's an internet/electronic based format. So, you tell me if you think it's going to be secure down the line, if there is some type of power grid or something like that happens. So anyway, but that's the news for the day. And as always, if you found it informative, please share it and click the subscribe button for more news. Want to deliver you 5 articles that just give you an idea of what's happening in the news today, especially news surrounding the Federal Reserve note, aka the dollar. And also I want to leave you with one last little bit of information here, and this is surrounding the current background you see here. I'm in front of the Federal Reserve building, and what I want to show you is a graph here, which in my opinion here kind of started the whole rethinking a dollar theme, as where what is a dollar, what is a Federal Reserve note, how come there's no other alternatives that we can actually use, but yet history has shown that we've always had multiple forms of a medium of exchange or currency. And so here is a graph here where it just basically says how the Fed killed the dollar. So standing in front of the Fed, or the Fed behind me, and so this goes to show you what's happened over the last 100+ years. And so starting in 1913 to 2013, you see just the steady decline of the purchasing power of the US dollar. And so along with that has come several different monetary acts and policies and things implemented from both our central bank as well as our government. But yet here's the truth behind all this. Eventually this dollar, or this graph, is going to reach the point of below the 0.5% or 5 cents rather, from its original purchasing power in 1913. So that's the big thing here. What happens when this thing reaches zero? And that's what I want to begin really informing more people about what's going on here, just to begin thoughts, just give you some things to think about, something to trigger and cut on a light bulb up there so that you can say, hey man, something not right. Let me figure out what's going on. Let me connect with people of like-minded interest and try to come up with some solutions, whether it be for you personally or for your family and friends or for a greater audience. But most importantly, if one person takes time to learn and then share it with another person, and then vice versa, it becomes a chain effect, which can ultimately help a lot of people. So anyway, just sharing some RTD news with you today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, click subscribe, share this. Please help get the message out. Let's try to inform more people while we can. I believe that 2017 will be a year of great uncertainty, and it's going to have a lot to do with our current idea of what a dollar is. So thanks for tuning in. Look forward to bringing you more news. Let me know your comments below as to what you think about this new format. And other than that, Looking forward to bringing you more news. Thanks.